Today is great. Today is Saturday, August 2nd, 2025 for me. Another day of learning and growing. I hope that you, your family, friends, and loved ones are doing well, staying safe. So this past week I've been thinking about this last loan that I'm paying off. And I was, wasn't quite sure what the terms were. I forget exactly when I took out the loan, but I decided to do a deep dive and do the research into when I took it out, or the terms of that loan, and where I stand today. So it was March 27th, 2024, last year, that I took out this debt consolidation loan. It was $17,122.87. So the amount covered a number of things. It was partially to cover credit card debt, also to consolidate some loans that I had outstanding with higher interest rates, and it covered some medical debt. It covered moving expenses when I moved cross country. The term of the loan was actually 48 months. So, I didn't really anticipate paying it down as fast as I have been paying it down, because I've had the loan for 15 months now. And so far, I've paid off $12,997.87 of that debt, which is over 75% of the original loan balance. So today, my personal loan is at $41.25, and my goal is to have it paid off by the end of this year. Well, short of the 48 months or 4 years that I had signed up for the loan. The good thing about my loan is that there is no early penalty for paying it off. There's no penalty for paying it off early, so I can pay it as fast as I want. And the good thing is, once this loan is paid off, I'll only have left my student loans, which are consolidated, and there are two different types of loans that are consolidated: subsidized and unsubsidized, and I will talk about that later as I continue to plan for paying that last bit off. But it's been rapid progress that I've made with paying off this personal loan. I was also looking back, I made a little note this morning. My debt in March of last year was at $55,689.64. Now my debt today is $37,490.31, a decrease of $18,199.33. This is working for me. This plan is working. Everybody's situation is different, because at the time I still had a lot of higher amounts on my credit cards, and it was just hard to keep up with the minimum payments, and to see any progress of it going down, it was very difficult. So, I was in a position where my credit was good enough to get this loan. And if you looked at previous videos, I learned how to budget back in May of 2021. So, I've been budgeting a few years at that point. My spending is under control. The way I use credit cards is different. The fact is that before I even make a purchase, I assign the money for that purchase. I make the purchase on the credit card, but then I pay it off with the money I had set aside to pay for that particular purchase. So, I'm making space in my life for financial recovery. And that was the biggest thing for me, is that, I don't want to be paying off the debt for the rest of my life. My goal is to be consumer debt free before I hit 50. And at this pace, it'll be a few years. I'll be a few years before I hit 50, when this consumer debt is paid off. As long as I stick to the plan. So, what I realized about this journey is it's not necessarily about the money or the debt. The debt is more than that. It's memories of bad decisions that I made with purchases, like not knowing how to budget and just really, just kind of winging it. But having a budget now is the plan that's keeping me from making crazy decisions. I'm a lot, closer to being debt free than I am to being back where I was, $115,041.89. It is a good feeling, but I still feel like I have a lot of progress left, or a lot left to pay down. That's just me. There's nobody putting this pressure on me. This is not a sprint. It's a marathon, and I'm happy-ish with the progress I've made. Would definitely like to see it go faster. And, not sure how things are going to look out in the future with my finances. If I making more money, then it'll go faster. If not, I'll just work with what I have and I'll be fine. Grateful to be in decent health, and what more can I ask for? So that's the story of the loan. And I just want to kind of wrap up this video talking about in the upcoming weeks what's about to happen. So I'm going to get a deep cleaning at the dentist, but I'm also going to get a crown on one of my teeth. And the estimate so far is that's going to be around $1,200 for that. For that. And so when I found out about the estimate, I said, okay, let me start setting aside some money towards it. So right now I have about $300 set aside towards that. It's going to happen in a few weeks, so I might not have all the money I need to be able to cover the procedure up front, but I should be able to charge it on my card at the end of the month, or whenever they have filed the claim and I get the finalized bill. And by the time it's before the due date of my credit card statement, I should be able to pay it off. So it's a different me, because the past me was like, okay, let me charge it on my card and I'll pay that over a long period of time. Now it's just like, I don't want the debt. If I can budget for this expense, then I'll budget for the expense. Worst case scenario is that it takes me 2 months to pay off the bill, and debt progress will be a little bit slowed, but all things considered, that's not bad. So, I guess my final thoughts to you to wrap up this video is that I wish there were one set plan to be able to get out of debt. I watch a lot of people who share their debt payoff stories, and some people are able to pay off $300,000 worth of debt in a year, possibly because they're making a lot of money for one thing, but also they may have sold a home, or they have multiple incomes that are paying down their debt. So it's a concerted effort to do that. There are some people who have $50,000 worth of debt, and it takes them 5 to 10 years to pay it off. And it just really depends. But I would say one of the most important things to do is to learn how to budget. There are too many resources out there not to be able to learn the budgeting. The type of budgeting I do is zero-based budgeting. And I would say initially, maybe the first couple of weeks, it was a little tricky to understand the concept of assigning money ahead of time to be able to cover expenses. But now it's just second nature for me. And so that's what I encourage you. And to have a detailed story of your progress. I'm kind of building my story going backwards, because I wasn't really planning on sharing this journey. If my intentions were at the beginning of my channel to share the debt payoff journey, I would have had something more built up and ready to present about it. So now I'm just kind of trying to build it, and I'll be able to share my story going forward when I'm helping other people try to get out of debt. Okay, if you made it this far, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications if you want to post my videos. You can find me at youtube.com/heading out of my budget. As always, thank you for watching. You all take care.